Hi everyone. I just want to actually make another quick video just before I get ready to get up. Yeah, after a while we have to get out to work. Yeah, I'm a bit like sleepy. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just a normal thing because I actually have been getting up. Okay. Yeah, I mean I'm back to work. Okay. I just want to talk a little bit more about the issue of triggers and things that actually come out all the time. And okay, I think it's very important because when we talk about the body keeping the score in abuse, like yeah, PTSD, narcissistic abuse, the thing is that our body doesn't just react in terms of showing certain ailments or certain signs of being unwell, but in fact our body actually reacts to the trigger. Uh, you know that actually there are four major there are four major trigger or trauma responses. Okay, there's the fight response, the flight meaning that you escape, or you just don't want to face it. And then there's freeze response where you just it's another way of coping by basically stopping what you do or just refusing to deal with it. Okay, and there's also the fawn fawning response. The fawn response includes things like flattery, paying compliments to someone. Yeah, especially for the fawn response, we know that it's not very authentic because especially, I mean, who in the right mind, I mean, would want to actually fawn or compliment or pay compliments to an abuser? But we know that in when we are suffering from fear and things like that, I mean, when we fear the abuser or the person or who's been you treating us, or we have an inherent anxiety towards concerning being discarded, we just tend to end up doing things like that. I know that this is one thing. And okay, but back to the whole idea of triggers. And because I was talking with the psychologist actually weeks ago, actually last week, just right after I mean I came back from Korea in January, but and I didn't really meet her. So I met her about, I think, once every month or so, or something like that. And yeah, so this time around with the therapy, she gave me another method of actually finding a safe space. Because this is one thing that when we suffer from PTSD and abusive situations, and we're trying to recover, or we try to actually prevent our cells from reacting. The thing is that our bodies are the repositories of the memories. Regardless of what we do, we can just push it to a corner. We can claim, oh, we are recovered, whatever. But sometimes our bodies, our subconscious, our brains, it sends signals to our bodies to do certain things. And I think that when I was watching The Glory, there's one scene inside that Korean drama series where there's it's the viral or famous hot the hair curling iron. The victim Moon Dong-eun was being she was being burned on her hands by the police who used a hair curling iron. And that that thing when a hot hair curling iron effectively scours human flesh, that sizzling sound. Okay, it's almost no different from the sound of meat that sizzles on the grill, during the barbecue. During Korean barbecues and Asian, like Mongolian and Thai barbecue. So it's really that scary, that sounds, the crackling and the sizzling sound. And the thing is, whenever the character of Dong-eun hears that sound, it sends her into a PTSD trauma response where she starts uh, it's not even a flight response. I think it sounds a lot like a flight, no, a freeze response. Yeah, because she started hyperventilating. She collapses on her knee, falls down on her knees in public, and with people asking her, is she okay? And she has to, it's like it reminds, because it reminds the sound of the sizzling meat during the barbecue, which was being barbecued by people whom she didn't know in the outdoor, the outdoor eating places, or the outdoor eating spaces of all these restaurants. um, yeah, all these sounds reminded her of the trauma when she was being burnt along her hands. So I know that there are certain things that on my own end, when I was like trying to do the signal, that back to the safe space, that the part of the whole thing about therapy. One way of doing it is actually to imagine a place that you always felt safe in. Yeah, for me, there were certain places that I felt very safe in. And yeah, and also there was another technique was basically one where you have to actually put your hands here, both hands. Yeah, so it's something like this. It's like, yeah, I have to, yeah, and then close my eyes and breathe and talk to myself. So it's a kind of talking to myself and sharing myself. But um, okay, one thing about this was, according to at least from what I remember in the conversation with her, she asked me this, and if I could do it. I said, at that point in time, I didn't really know why, but I just told her, I have a lot of difficulty with this thing about my touching my arms and everything, because um, not just when I was this discarded by the ex, but even when I was the whole thing about my arms being twisted and by angry people, and this whole bunch of the flying monkeys, the way they try to do things like how to say, conduct the abuse by proxy, by that I know that it sounds weird, that what's a big guy like you, people ask, like, having that kind of reaction when people come close to you, touch you. But I don't like being touched. Okay, I think it's okay. If they were my friends and everything, like me hugging, giving them a bye bye hug, or something like that, or something like that, or just saying hi hug when I was in Korea. It's very normal. For people to do that, and but at the same time, I can't say that I feel very easy when I have to do it for myself. And yeah, I still end up doing it anyway. But I kind of realize this: we all have some triggers, and this thing about the body keeping a score, it will always persist no matter what, and until you find a way to actually handle it with therapy. And I know, for one thing, the whole sense of agitation, there are certain things that, I'm not saying that this didn't exist until after narcissistic abuse, because I tended to be very, very anxious as a person. So certain things, especially being very empathetic, they can trigger me. Like, for example, yesterday when I was trying to buy something to eat at this hawker center, and a lady, I don't think she meant it intentionally to anyone, but because the most of these hawker centers and food stalls actually accept cash payments instead of ATM. But the ATM at that particular stall was not working. So she was like being very flustered. She was like telling that the client, the customer, who was like I think he's probably from some other country, or he's just Malay or some, yeah, or it sounded like, yeah, he was probably Indonesian, or if not Indian, I'm not sure where he's from. But she was trying to tell him in her very halting English whether he could pay cash, or whether he could go and withdraw cash instead of using the ATM card. And halfway through the thing, she was yeah, she was very flustered. She was like cursing and swearing at the ATM, and in her own like language or dialect. And I don't really know fully what she was actually saying, but I guess that at the point in time, I felt that her mood was rubbing off onto me in a way. And I know that certain things, for once, I get very triggered by certain things at myself. When the last ex, like 7 years ago, requested to meet me, I know that it wasn't like uh I have friends, like including psychic. I mean, she's not really a professional psychic, but she had some predilection towards intuiting things. So she told me, what is it about people wanting to meet in the food court? That was what that ex wanted, and she said this friend of mine said, you know what, you have better request to meet somewhere else, like in a cafe or whatever, or I mean whatever. But that was the day of this court itself, and my friend, that female friend, thought that it was just gonna work out with me being firm and everything, and yeah, but it didn't. Like, it was a, the whole thing became pretty nasty as a kind of like a verbal altercation with me being gaslighted and everything. But the that noise, the up till now I can see that the sense of the noise in the food court, it does it's very jarring to me when I hear it, and it's not the same as that kind of noise or sound you hear when you're in the malls, because I know that, I mean, I don't get that kind of sense when I'm in the malls. But with food courts, and that people, the thing is that my gut reaction now in response is that I knew that that particular ex narcissist was trying to find a place to to quickly just like must be that ex must be thinking, oh frick, I better get rid of Kevin, who's starting to be in on things, and then I can jump onto another new guy or whatever, or things like that, and then I can just go on to my whole life as the soul sucking, the male soul sucking succubus incubus spirit, without anyone knowing it, and yeah. So but of course, I mean, I requested to meet in a cafe instead to go, and we ended up having it's not really a conversation, it's more like the monologue of the narcissist during the conversation. But yeah, so certain things still actually agitate and aggravate me in a sense. But I wonder what, for those who have been coping with it, what are your triggers? uh, I do have certain triggers still. I can't really list them one by one, but I know that there's certain things that come up. For example, the social media, like certain third party social media accounts, which might actually directly post pictures with the ex narcissist and all the flying monkeys, or even the flying monkeys' social media accounts. That's one thing, and I know that at that point in time my body will react with certain things, like those kind of things with the racing heart, as if I'm preparing or anticipating a fight. Or then in some cases, like for example in food courts, I start to freeze. Yeah, I start to freeze, and I don't like that kind of feeling. So I stopped going to food courts. And adult, you actually, I mean, probably the food courts near my home aren't that crowded, but the further you get away, and I mean down towards downtown, it becomes worse. So yeah, I've been avoiding all those. So I'm not sure what everyone's trigger is for this kind of PTSD, but maybe y'all can just yeah, let me know. And I think that in time to come, I'll just make some more videos and everything. But in the meantime, just keep well, everyone. Okay, and yeah, I remember now is just things are like that. Okay, so yeah, okay, that's it. Bye bye.